Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Today we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test of the 2021 Volkswagen Arteon. We're going to head out on the highway, do 50 miles out and 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour to get a realistic real-world MPG number for this beautiful sedan. Before we get started, let's hop out, take a quick look at it. Essentially a fancy Passat. This is Volkswagen's progression of the CC. Keeping sedans alive here in 2021. Sharp looks, big wheels, overall pretty nifty little car. If you want to see more on the Arteon, check the links in the description for our full review and our dedicated review of the Harman Kardon sound system. So why do we do this test? Well, the EPA Highway Fuel Economy Test, which gives this noisy Arteon 31 miles per gallon, that test only averages 48 miles per hour. And we know there are people who take their vehicles out on extended road trips and would like to know what sort of realistic fuel economy figures they should expect in their car. So in order to test that out, we're going to head over to the Shell fuel pump, fill up, go out on the highway, do 50 miles out and 50 miles back in the opposite direction, come back and fill up at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method in order to see how much fuel the car took. And we'll take the total miles, divide that by fuel used, and get ourselves a result. A few things of note today. Outside temperature is 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Tire pressures have been set to their door placard at 38 psi. We're going to be running the climate control at 73 degrees auto. Yes, this might run the air conditioner, but it's how we test all the vehicles. And hey, people got to stay comfortable in their cars. Let's hop out, fill it up. Interestingly, this little 2-liter in this fairly average sedan requires premium fuel. Now, that's a little frustrating to me because as you see at, come on, get in there. What's the point of having this little thing if it's not going to stay in? That's kind of silly. All right. You see here, premium is a full $1 more per gallon than regular at many pumps. So it's frustrating that this fairly commonplace sedan, it's not a luxury car by any means, frustrating that they made it require 91 octane. Okay, we put in 4.133 gallons for our initial fill. Before we actually start up the car, we're going to turn off the cooled seat. I don't know why that came on. Turn off the heated seat too. We're going to reset our GPS. We're going to reset the car's trip computer. Got that reset. We're going to put the car in eco mode. There's also comfort, normal, sport, and custom. And we're ready to go. We're going to head on over to the highway, about half a mile away, pick up the test from there. Now, we're not trying to hypermile on this test, so we're going to get up to highway speed at a reasonable pace. Once we get up there, we're going to set our cruise control to a GPS-indicated 72 miles per hour. Interestingly, the GLA 250 I tested earlier this week was smack dead on with its speedometer. And this one's looking really close as well, too, so I'm curious if the Germans are doing something new with their speedos and calibrating them with GPS. Well, this one's actually a little bit off, but not by much. Pretty darn close. 72 and 72, they seem to be pretty in sync. Initial highway comfort's quite good. This car actually rides really well despite its thin profile tires. A little bit more road noise than I would have liked, though. Anyway, we're going to head on for the rest of the test, see how this thing does, and catch up with you at the end. In the meantime, feel free to enjoy this time lapse of the entire trip. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the 2021 Volkswagen Arteon 2-liter T4matic. A tad disappointing if we go off the vehicle's trip computer. 29.9 miles per gallon indicated. Now I'm predicting that'll bump up a little bit because the car's tripometer is reading about 2 miles lower than our GPS at this point. So it thinks we haven't done 2 of those miles, so if it's factoring that into the MPG calculation, then it'll definitely go up a bit. The other thing that's a bit surprising is German cars almost always do better than their EPA numbers on the highway on these higher speed tests. So I would be surprised if we get a lower than EPA number in this car. The temperature's good, it's 43 outside, it's definitely warm in the cabin because of the sun beating in. There's not really any wind either direction, traffic's been clear. So I would expect to see at least 31 miles per gallon once we do our calculations, but hey, we'll see what happens. Another thing that's surprising is road noise is loud in this car. Just listen. Wind noise, really not too bad, but I'm surprised that this car is as loud as it is, being a sedan, being something that should be good for highway miles. I'm a little disappointed in that. Either way, we've averaged 70 miles per hour, so good test in that regard. We're going to take it nice and easy back to the Shell gas station, fill up at the same pump using the same fueling method, and get ourselves that sweet, sweet mile per gallon result. There we are, 30.1 miles per gallon. Shut her down, let's fill it up. 3.198 gallons going in. 102.2 divided by 3.198 gives us a result of 32 miles per gallon. Now that's a lot more what I would have expected for this car. EPA 31, 32 according to our result. That's pretty good. Now the all-wheel drive Arteon has an 18.3 gallon fuel tank. The front-wheel drive one has 18.2. Very big difference. Times that by 32 gives us an effective cruising range of 580 miles at 70 miles per hour here in the Arteon 4matic. Pretty darn good. So thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more on the Arteon, check the links in the description for our full review as well as our dedicated review of the Harman Kardon sound system. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.